It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on the first day of October, 2020. Coming to you live from Bedford County in Central Virginia, right outside of Lynchburg. Glad you could stop by if you're with us for the first time. As always, so you'll know, we do Travel and Cruise Industry News every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock. So if you want to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of calls, cruises themselves, make sure you hit that little subscribe button. The bell notification will tell you when I go live or when something new has been posted. So, and as always, we appreciate thumbs up for anything we do. So we get that out of the way early. It's been a crazy morning this morning. Those of you that follow us regularly know that at 9 o'clock this morning, so 2 hours ago, we had a Cruise Amigos Live from Virginia show. Pete and John and I talked with a couple of our friends from Variety Cruises over there in Greece. And despite having a few technical glitches, I think it was probably with the Wi-Fi from in Greece, but we got through it. I had a very nice chat. It's well worth watching. I'm just fascinated with these small ship cruises, just totally fascinated. So anyway, it's a good show. If you got a chance, stop over, take a look at it. It's you'll find it on Facebook or on YouTube. Anyway, Cruise Amigos Live. Coming ahead Sunday on Cruise Amigos Live from London will be our friend Nate Villiers, who has been on before. He's from up in Alaska. He has a business in Alaska promoting. He has all sorts of tourism things that he does up there. We're going to be talking with him about the CDC guidance and how it relates to the Alaska situation. That is coming up on Sunday at 3 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock London time. Cruise Amigos Live from London. Now, today, the lead story, of course, today, and I'm going to, everybody knows about it now. I mean, it's been all over the social media. It's been on the regular network news. So everybody is aware of the situation. I'm going to give my take on it, and I invite any of you to give your opinions on it because, boy, this one's got some wide opinions. And, of course, what we're talking about is the CDC. Here's what happened. Yes, we all know that they were set to expire the no sail clause last night. So Robert Redfield, Robert Redfield, the director of the Center for Disease Control, was overruled when he pushed to extend the no sail order on passenger cruises into next year, according to two sources with direct knowledge of the conversation in the White House Situation Room. So basically what happened, they knew the thing was going to expire on September 30th. They had to do something. I made the call that they would go at least to November 1st, where all the cruise lines have been. Most of them have voluntarily done that, and as has CLIA, that represents all of them. So I was expecting that part of it. Redfield wanted to extend it to the end of February. And the White House pushed back and I guess cut the legs out from under him. And so now the CDC is just extended 30 days with the caveat is that they can extend it 30 more days if they need to, as opposed to Redfield wanting to go to February, just shut it all down until then because of the whole situation in the country, especially in Florida, where quite a few of the cruise lines sail from. Now, it clearly is a debatable issue on cruising currently. We all want cruising to start again, but we want it to be done safely, and we want cruising to start and not end up in a whole cluster, you know what, like we had when the pandemic started on cruise ships. So we just don't want that to happen again. So to do that, we've got to be, number one, safe on the cruise ships. We've got to be tested and so forth before you get on them, so you know you're not bringing it on board. It's got to be done just like MSC and Costa have done in Europe successfully so far. The only problems that I've had with any of the European cruises are on some of the smaller ships that just don't have the same protocols that the bigger ships have come up with. So my problem is not with Redfield saying it needs to go to February. I'm not 100% sure that he's wrong with that. But I have real problems with the administration dictating to the CDC on what they should say. I don't think that's a healthy situation. The CDC needs to do their job. They need to take care of the health and well-being of the people in this country, notwithstanding any political influence. So I have problems with the way that whole thing came down, with the administration basically saying, no, we got to get the industry open. Yeah, we all want it open, but it's got to be done safely, people, or we're going to end up with a worse situation than we were in before. So, public health officials have privately complained that thwarting of Redfield on the cruise ship ban is politically motivated because the industry is under major economic presence in Florida, which is a key battleground state. Trump can't win unless he carries Florida. So he's going to do anything he can to carry Florida, whether it's healthy or not healthy. And I'm not saying anything. I'm not doing this politically, folks. That's the truth of the matter. Apparently, this meeting that was held, the vice president is the one that said, sorry, Redfield, we're going according to a different plan. And he backed off, I guess. I'm not sure exactly how all that happened, that the CDC backed off from what the directors was going to do. It is now on the website that it's for 30 days. However, there are no protocols yet. They have not said what the cruise ships need to do before they can sail, or how they can set it up to do it. None of that's there yet. So, that end of it's got to be there before the cruise ships can sail. And they do have the out of, they can extend it for 30 more days, come October 31st. And keep adding it on depending on the health and well-being of the country and at that time. My problem is I'm worried about the situation of us getting in a screwed up situation again on a ship that it's not done properly, it's not done safely, and it's not done healthily, and we're going to end up with a worse mess than we've got. Yeah, such a prime situation coming up. Wisconsin is going through the worst possible things they could do. So what's going to happen? They're having two big rallies in Wisconsin. People are not going to be socially distancing. They're not going to wear masks. And they're already in a bad situation now. And two big rallies are going to make it worse. And they just can't see that because they're interested in the political style of it now. And again, folks, I know that sounds like I'm totally one-sided politically on this. I'm not. I feel the same way about the Democrats. I don't like any of them. I don't like any. I'd like to never vote for an incumbent again on anything, but that's me. So that's the situation we're in, folks. I welcome all of you in the chat. Tell me what you think. If you agree that we should sail in 30 days, fine. I will say this. Let's assume that in 30, and by the way, the cruise lines have said they need the 30 days. I mean, they got to get crew flown in from all over the world. They've got to get the testing done for they know that everybody on board ship is negative. So that all the majors have said we got to have the 30 days. So assuming that they can sail November 1st, let's assume that, and let's ignore the fact of the pandemic raging in Florida and everywhere else. And yeah, there are signs that numbers are better, but there's still numbers are steady, way too high, and could be going worse, but that's neither here nor there. So let's say we start sailing November 1st. Carnival comes up with 2 or 3 ships that sails, and Royal Caribbean has a ship sailing, and Norwegian has one sailing, and Celebrity has one sailing, and they got a few ships going. Okay, assuming that they get the right kind of protocols and everything in place in time, and do what like the MSC and Costa have done in Europe. To try to make it successful. So let's say that happens November 1st. Would you go cruising November 1st? I'm asking each and every one of you, whether you're one of my regulars or somebody that's just watching this for the first time, drop it in the chat box. I'm going to go through chat today completely on your opinions on this, because I'm not trying to dictate my thoughts to you guys at all. I mean, I know, like, my friend Jason is dying to get on a cruise ship, and he's going in January, come hell or high water. That's great. I can't do that. I would, at this point, come November 1st, I would not go get on a cruise ship, and not because of the cruise lines, not because of the politics either. That's not why. Because I can't take a chance on my health and the health of my family, my sister and brother-in-law that are older than I am, and all of us have those, pesky conditions that make it worse. I can't do it. I can't put myself at that kind of risk until we have the rapid testing that I know that I am totally safe, and everybody around me, whether it's on an airplane, and yes, I could drive to Florida to get on a cruise ship, or before I get on the cruise ship, everybody on it is tested, and to make it as close to being sure thing that I'm not going to catch the virus before I'd get on a cruise ship. Now, I have ultimate faith in the cruise lines and the ship itself once I'm on there. That's not my problem. My problem is getting there and getting on the boat safely. And that's where I'm wondering about this whole issue with the politics and the dictating to the CDC, if that's wise. And my feeling is it's not. I think we need to listen to the scientists and the medical experts probably a lot more than we've been listening to them. Along the same general line on that, Saga over for our friends over on the other side of the pond. Saga, which is a British-based a cruise line, has extended their suspension on operations into 2021. They're going to try to restart February 4th, the first week of February. That Saga over there, just since that's related. Of course, Europe is going through spiking problems now in most of the countries over there, and they're getting in a bad situation again. So we're just going to have to, I mean, to me, we got to wait and see. I'm still on voluntary lockdown. We don't do anything. We don't go anywhere to the doctor, and that's it. Weather. I do have to talk about weather today briefly. There are two systems in the Caribbean. The one closest to Mexico and to Central America there is called Disturbance Number 1, real creative name. Disturbance Number 1, tropical wave located over the west central Caribbean Sea, producing a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Conditions are expected to be conducive for development of this system, and a tropical depression is likely to form sometime in the next couple days. So that is one, and they're saying 70% chance of further formation. The one that's over there approaching the edge of the islands, the yellow X, is disturbance number 2, tropical wave located just east of the Lesser Antilles, producing a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. This one is pretty low chance of further development. Now, I mention those only because we look at the Atlantic Basin first. There actually is a hurricane out in the Pacific. Hurricane Maria has been rolling out there for, a couple days now. Currently, the last update, 105 mile an hour wind, so it's a category 2. Central pressure is 973. It's moving west-northwest at 17 miles an hour, which means it's going to do nothing. I mean, it's going nowhere. So it's a hurricane. It's going to end up fizzling out probably into this weekend, and it'll start losing strength and dying out there. But it's another hurricane, folks. We've had several in the Pacific this year, which is unusual. I mean, it's been an unusual year for weather all across the globe, but especially in the Pacific. A lot more activity there than we've ever had before that I can remember. All right, go over and check on the chat and so forth to see if anybody has any opinions on the CDC or anything else that might be there. Robert Luquette is with us. Hello, Robert. Glad to have you with us. Tom Henry says, good morning to everybody. Tom is under the opinion that the CDC, we need a new CDC director. Amy's with us this morning. Jason's here from Pittsburgh. Jason, good to see you as always. Amy says, the people at the CDC who want to keep things closed have one thing in common. They all have jobs. Other people want theirs back. I understand that. And that's probably a pretty good point, Amy. I'm just afraid and fearful of us trying to do too much too fast and end up being worse shape than we were in. And yeah, I've realized that's awfully conservative on my part. Some of the states that are having the biggest problems right now are those that tried to do too much too fast and are paying for it now. Was Redfield right about holding off till February? Yeah, I understand that there's a lot of people out of work in the industry, and a lot of people want to go cruising again. Now, I just want to make sure that we do it as healthy as we can. under the circumstances. So, Nikki's with us. Good morning, y'all. Or should I use inclusive plural, all y'all? I like it, all y'all. Tom Henry, my fantasy cruise November 1st is still on. New York has removed Virginia from the isolation list. You know, I forgot all about checking that this week. Glad to know that we can now go to New York. That's pretty cool. So we're off the bad list now. I thought maybe that would happen when I saw the green on the maps for Virginia for a change. It means our stuff is going down. Numbers are going down. Which of course that's subject to change too. Jason says director of the CDC is on a power trip. Yeah, that could be. I don't know. You know, the administration has tried to muzzle Dr. Fauci, Dr. Blix, because too many people in this country were believing everything they said. Redfield never really had the public backing, I don't think, that like Dr. Fauci has. I wonder the wisdom of any political entity, be it the Trump administration or a Democratic administration, trying to dictate health protocols when the politicians, I'm sorry, don't know the first damn thing about a pandemic and how to handle it. I don't know. There's just something about this whole thing just bugs me. And it worries me. Who pressured the CDC to not close the airlines? Well, those are valid points. I agree. The airlines are hurting. Cruise lines are hurting. I mean, everybody in the travel industry is hurting. So, yeah, I know everybody wants to get it back and get going and get your jobs back. And I understand. God knows I understand. I just... of course, I still think we need the rapid testing everywhere. And of course, when we get a vaccination, we need to take it. Emily's with us up there in New York. Emily, you guys are now accepting Virginia, I just found out. Sweet. I can come to New York sometime. Of course, I'm not going anywhere for the time being. Love that shirt. Yeah, this is one of my Bahamas shirts, I think. Yeah. This one I was on NCL last year. Tom says, I think he needs replaced. CDC works for the Secretary of HHS, who works at the pleasure of the presidency. Yeah, I understand that. Seems like a reasonable thing for administration to remove a CDC director. I'm not disagreeing at all. I mean, and it clearly would be in the president's prerogative to replace the CDC director if he so desires. That does not necessarily mean it's in the best interest of the country and the health of the country, depending on who our replacement would be. Now, I understand the fact that he is both the Secretary of HHS and the CDC do serve at the pleasure of the president. I understand that. I have just real problems with politicians trying to dictate to the scientists and the health people in an area that they know nothing about or very little about. Emily says CDC recommends not flying over long periods due to the virus. Tom says, I think healthy sail recommendations are worth trying, much better than on land precautions. Again, Tom, I got no problem at all with cruising. Once I get on a boat, if I was able to get there and feel comfortable getting there, I would have no problem at all getting on a ship and sailing. I wouldn't worry about that end of it at all, as long as they're doing the protocol similar to like the MSC and Costa are doing. And clearly, I mean, there's things about those that I don't like. Excursions. I was never an excursion guy, but I always, or most of the time, would get off at a port and I'd go do my thing for an hour or 2 or 3 or whatever. And we can't do that now. I'm assuming that that's going to be carried on, because that's clearly, one of the important things that they've done in Europe is cut off excursions. You're not going to be walking around ports and picking up the virus and bringing it back on the ship. They're not going to allow that, at least for now. So, and then I feel certain that CDC has got to put that in the guidelines on how the cruise ships can operate. And that's got to be done before any of them sail, people. I'm sorry, but it's got to be that way. If they can do it inside of 30 days and get the guidelines up, fine. Amy says, I think the cruise lines will follow the protocols exactly in their interest to keep their business running and not have to shut down again. I think so too. And that's why that part of it, I'm not worried about. I have ultimate faith in the cruise lines and the companies and the ships and the staff members on the ships of doing it right. Again, my problem is with us, with the people not doing the right things and causing problems for everybody else. Jason would sail right now if he could. And Jason, I would have bet all the money in the world that that's exactly what you would say. And I'm not disagreeing with you, my friend. I know that's exactly how you feel. I wish I could be that comfortable. I wish I was in a situation where I could be that way. But like I've said, once we get to the boat, man, I would have no hesitation whatsoever on any of the major lines, and probably most of the small lines too. After, it's just like the variety cruises in Greece. Well, they not only Greece, they're all over this. They do stuff all over the world. But I would have no problems at all getting on one of their boats. I wouldn't have any trouble getting on one of Katrina lines that we talked to up in Croatia, because I believe wholeheartedly in those guys doing it correctly. Nikki says, my neighbor went to a Trump rally in Jacksonville, 13,000 people and no mask. Our neighbor wore one, but was harassed and he took it off. Well, I just hope your neighbor doesn't get sick. I know that happens. That's going to happen up in Wisconsin when they're in the middle of a worse mess up with Wisconsin right now than even Florida's in. And Florida's, let's face it, folks, Florida's been awful. Yes, I know your numbers there have leveled off, but they're not coming down. They've leveled off way the hell up here and not, coming down. But yeah, that's a good sign that it's leveled off. I'm not disputing that. Sonny says, if planes can fly full, cruise ships can sail at reduced capacity. So that's a good point. And I hope, again, folks, I'm not fighting this. If they can issue their protocols, if CDC puts out the protocols and they're what we expect them to be, and they feel that they can sail in 30 days. I'm not going to dispute. I'm not going to raise hell about it. I'll be all in favor of it. And I'll be reporting on the news on that one just like I'm going on myself. I'm not gonna argue. I want to see it. I want to see things get back to normal too. I'm just worried about it, and I know my personal situation is a little different. I wonder if Jason says, I wonder if airline layoffs will affect cruising when it resumes. Good question. A very good question. Who knows? You'd think once cruising resumes, the airlines are going to be beefing up their flights, at least to those areas as well. And that's an excellent point. I still dream about the days, folks, when we got the rapid testing and having it widespread. I'm telling you, that's the ticket if we can ever get there. If Abbott and any of these other companies that are working on the rapid testing can get it out and widely available, let the airlines have it, let the cruise lines have it. Boy, that would make a huge difference, I believe. Will the Florida governor go back to mask wearing? Sound like she won't? Hell no, he won't. He's completely done away with all the protocols now. Yeah, he's letting the restaurants operate at 100% capacity, restaurants and bars at 100% capacity. He's saying he wants a Super Bowl and it's going to be open for fans. I've disagreed with his stance on several things all along. I thought he tried to go way too early with opening up. That's just me. But no, he's not going to go back to mask wearing. I guarantee it. Not unless there is some kind of national protocol that says he has to. I don't see that happening. Nikki says more time should be spent creating procedures and protocols for safe sailing than arguing over dates. Good point. I hope, as much as the parts of it that I don't like, but I hope that they take, pretty much like they have the cruise lines. Royal Caribbean and Norwegian went together and they issued the CDC a set of their suggested protocols, and CLIA and Carnival went together and did another set, and they're very similar, and they follow along pretty close to what MSC and Costa have done successfully in Europe. I hope that that's the situation we're going to be in, as much as people don't want to hear some of that. They don't want to hear stuff about the excursions. They don't want to hear stuff about you have to be tested to get on the boat. They don't want to hear about mask wearing. But it's going to be that way, folks, at least until we got the pandemic on the run, and that's not going to be anytime soon. I'm not saying we shouldn't cruise until then. I might be saying that I can't cruise until then, but we're gonna have to do things we don't want to do, we don't like to do, for the end result to be what most of us want, and that is get back to sailing again. Gretchen asked, Emily, do you know anything about Corsica? Nikki says, Emily Archer, I don't think our governor ever made masks mandatory. No, and I'm pretty sure he didn't. Individual cities and counties did. Yeah, that was my understanding of Florida as well. Gretchen says, going there instead of Genoa. Okay. Gretchen's with me there, Chillie. I'm not sure on what you're with me there, but I do appreciate it. I always appreciate anybody that agrees with me. And folks, this isn't an issue where, I mean, we can all have different opinions on this and still all want the same thing. It's just, I just want it to, I want all of us to be able to do what we love to do and do it safely. That's my main shtick is let's make sure we can do it safely and above all else. But yeah, man, I want to get back to cruising too. I could have been on 4 or 5 more cruises since this whole thing started. Gretchen says she thinks February could be overdoing it. I have no problem with that statement whatsoever, Gretchen. I've got no problem with them doing it 30 days at a time either. They go 30 days, and if they need to go 30 more, then do it. Yeah, I can see that completely. That jumping all the way to February could be too much. And again, that's when I was talking about that, I said I'm not entirely sure about whether that's the right thing or not. That he wasn't right or wasn't wrong. I don't know. But yeah, I certainly can appreciate the opinion of going to February was too much. Sonny says mask requirement here in Mississippi. I will still wear a mask. I have, I wear my mask all the time if I'm out, if I'm, what little bit I go out. If I go, of course, go to the doctors, it's required around here. I even do when I go through a drive-through pickup restaurant, to pick up food at the restaurant. I even put a mask on when I pull up to the window. And I know the people in the restaurant, the cashier and so forth, they're wearing masks. They've got shields. They've got, the plexiglass window thing. So they're just sitting their hand. I still wear a mask just so these people know that, hey, I care about what's going on in their life as well as mine. So yeah, I do. I wear a mask when I'm out a lot. Gretchen says, Ohio is still mandatory. Watch out for those tasers. Yeah, that's a funny. Amy says, I don't think Dr. Redfield's a bad person. I don't either, but I think he's biased against cruising. Otherwise, why are planes flying full? I'm just saying, be fair, be equal by your judgments. It's a very good point, Amy. And again, a lot of these are just not things that anybody can disagree with. It's just, I'm just surprised that came out publicly like it did. Just totally surprised. Emily says, Sonny, I'm glad you're still wearing them. Here in New York, governor has made it law to wear a mask in public, inside stores, and 6 feet is not possible. Sonny says, our mask requirement expired yesterday and not renewed. I don't care. Still wear masks probably from now until COVID is under control with a vaccine, etc. And Sonny, I think you're being very, very wise. Emily says, I hear you. I'd still wear them too. Tom Henry says, Bruce's poll is interesting. It asks, are you trusting the administration or the CDC, and administration is ahead by 21 votes? Well, I mean, that's a poll. That's people speaking what they think. I would trust this personally. I would trust the CDC before I trust the administration. But, and that's not political, folks. Let's assume if the Democrats are in office, I would feel the same way. I would hope that I have the mental fortitude to feel the same way. I don't like politicians dictating to scientists what they should do and think. There's just something about that bothers me. Jason, we would cruise too. We might avoid people a bit more, spend more time on the balcony than usual, but would still enjoy a cruise. Boy, I'd love to be on a boat. Oh my goodness. I have this morning doing that show with the guys from Greece, and they've been sailing all along. Or they were shut down for a while, but have been back sailing for some time with no problems. But just talking about it and seeing pictures, and you want to be out there on the water again so bad. For any of us that love to cruise. I'm with you on that. I want to be out there too. I gotta look after my butt first. Tom says if CDC had not put the directive that asymptomatic people do not need to test, I might have more faith in them. Boy, isn't that the truth? That's when I agree with Tom 100% on that one. They've made some mistakes, bad mistakes. That just didn't make sense. I agree, since the spread would go ahead from unknown folks. Yeah, I totally agree there. The CDC clearly is not 100% correct. I'm not saying that at all. And yeah, there have been several things that they've done that just didn't add up to me either. Sonny, Tom Henry, you watching The Weakest Link? I'm watching reruns of Downtown Abbey. Addicted. All right, let's see what we got here, because I'm my wife doing 2 shows back to back. My voice is starting to go. So Chillie, the water is calling us back. I agree, Sonny. Boy, it's calling me big time. All right, guys. That's going to wrap me up for today. What is today? Today's Thursday. I'll be back on Saturday with Travel and Cruise Industry News. If anything major happens between now and then, of course, I'll get on there as quickly and all as possible. Anyway, that's going to wrap me up for today. I'll be back 11 o'clock Saturday morning. You guys stay safe, stay healthy, wear your mask, please, folks. Socially distance, wash your hands, do all those things as much as you can. And hopefully, we'll start seeing some things going in the right direction. And if they can start sailing in November, got more power to them. If they can figure out the way to do it and do it healthy, that would be terrific. That'd be great. So, and I know Jason would be probably on the second person in line to get on a boat. Don't blame him at all. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. You guys have a great day. Thanks for being with me, and we'll see you next time. This is Chillie, the old fat travel guy, about to lose my voice. Later, y'all.
Thank you for watching today's Travel and Cruise Industry News. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.